Tactical RMM now has single sign-on, or SSO, and the way we've implemented this is through OpenID Connect, or OIDC. So we're going to do a quick demo of this feature so you can see how it works. The documentation for this feature is under Functionality, Single Sign-On, and in this video we're going to be doing a live demo of two providers, Google and Microsoft. Those are the two that I'd imagine most people would use, but like I said, you can use any provider you want that supports OIDC. We've got some examples here: GitLab, Apple, Twitch, Facebook, Mattermost, and we have guides for Google Workspace, Microsoft Entra, and then some of the self-hosted ones like Authentic, Keycloak, and Authelia. So there are hundreds of providers out there that support OIDC. Obviously, we can't write documentation for every single provider, but it's fairly simple. All you need is the issuer URL, the client ID, and the secret. So whatever provider you want to use, you just go on their website and I'm sure they'll have a documentation on how to set up OIDC. Just follow that guide and it should work. So let's do a demo. I'm only going to be showing Google and Microsoft in this video. So let's go over to my demo instance. So you first have to enable it. It will be disabled by default. So global settings. So there's a new tab here called single sign-on. I have already added these providers. So to enable, we're going to click on SSO settings. We're going to enable single sign-on. And there is an option to block local user logins. So what this will do is any local accounts that you have with Tactical will not be able to log in. So if you wanted to enforce SSO only, you could do that. Of course, local super user accounts will always be able to get in no matter what. So we'll save this. We'll go to another window that I have open here. We will refresh, and now you see login with SSO, and you'll see the two providers. So let's go through adding a provider. Click Add Provider. We'll give it a name. Let's do Facebook for this. Client ID, secret. And then we will need to give it a role. This is, of course, a tactical role that is managed through the Tactical Permissions Manager. So this role will be assigned to the SSO user when they first sign in. And for this demo, I created a role that only has access to client 2. So we'll save this. Obviously, this is not a real setup right here. Just want to show you what it will look like. If we go back to the login page and refresh now, we'll see Facebook. And if you've noticed, it automatically added the icon for the provider. So what we did is we went through a list of some well-known providers and we added icons for them. So what the function will do is parse the URL, and if it sees, for example, Google in the URL or Microsoft in the URL, it'll just add the appropriate icon. So let's actually try logging in. We'll start with Google. So we'll click on Google and you'll see it takes us to the Google sign-in page. Sign in to continue to Tactical RMM. We're going to use our support email address, so support@meetaware.com. And I do have two-step on my phone, so I'm going to get a prompt on my phone right now. And I'm going to click yes, it's me. And you can see we're now logged in as MediaWare support. So this name was automatically pulled from Google, so whatever my first and last name in Google is will appear here. You'll also notice that that client 2 role that I set up earlier was it was applied to this provider, so you can see it did apply that permission to this account. And so if we now go back to our other window, which we're logged in as a local super user, and just so I can show you in user administration, you will see a new account here. This was just created when we logged in with our Google user. So we can see first and last name was automatically pulled from Google. And of course the role that we set, you can change it here if you want. And if we right click on the user again, you'll notice that there are two new items in this list. The first one is called Show Connected SSO Accounts. that will show you the account, then the provider that it's tied to, and you have the option here to disconnect it. You can also see the date that they joined, which means the first sign into Tactical through that provider. The second item in the list is called Show Active Sessions. This will show who is currently logged in. Sessions that are currently logged in for this user. And by the way, this doesn't apply just to social accounts. You can do this for local accounts as well. You'll see for local accounts this is grayed out, but obviously you can see we are logged in right now, and we can even disconnect ourselves. Let's go ahead and disconnect. We'll log out Immediaware, so we'll disconnect them, sign them out, delete, go back here, and you see we've been logged out. Alright, let's try Microsoft now. So we'll click on Microsoft, and then I'm going to copy and paste an account that was provided to me for testing purposes. The password here. And you'll notice that this does not have two-factor. So if you haven't already figured out, for those of you that keep asking, how can I disable two-factor? Well, you can use SSO. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend that. But it is possible now, so there you go. I hope you're happy. Speaking of two-factor, you can now add support for hardware tokens like YubiKeys by configuring that in your SSO provider. So if you wanted to, for example, force everybody to log in with a YubiKey or any other hardware token, then you would obviously configure that in your provider, and then in the SSO settings of Tactical, you would check the block local login setting. Anyway, back to our demo. So we just logged in as Josh. Let's go back here and refresh, and we'll see the Josh user that was created. So yeah, there you have it. Those are all the user account demos that we're going to do. One thing I quickly want to go over is if we go back to the docs here, when setting up a provider, you probably will be asked for something called a callback URL or a redirect URI. So in Google, it's going to look something like this: authorized redirect URIs. For Microsoft, it will appear here, redirect URIs. So the way that you get that is after adding a provider in Tactical, you can either click this copy button here, and that'll copy it, or you can right click and copy the callback URL. So we'll copy that, and then let me just paste it in here so you can see what it looks like. So it's basically your API subdomain, accounts, OIDC, and then this thing here will be whatever you've set here, which is why you can't edit it, because it's part of the URL. And then the rest of the URL will always be the same. It'll be login, callback, and make sure you have this trailing slash here. This is very important. If you omit the trailing slash, this is not going to work. So always best to just copy and paste it from here. But if for some reason you can't, for example, if they require you to enter the callback URL before you're able to create the client secret or something, then that's how you figure out the format of it. So let's just show you the Google one real quick again, just so you can see it's the same exact format. The only thing that changes is the name of the provider, and the name can be anything you want. It does not have to be Google, but that's what it's. Whatever you name it, it's going to appear on the login screen and in the URL. So it's probably best to just call it the name of the provider. But again, whatever you want. One more thing, and this really only applies to Google. At least that's the only provider where I've seen them ask for this, and that is something called the authorized JavaScript origin. So if we copy that and we'll paste it here, you will see that it is literally the URL of your web interface. And if we go to the docs here for Google, here you'll see this is where they ask for it. You just paste in the URL of your front end. Again, I've only seen Google ask for this. I don't know if any other providers do, but that's why I just added this copy button here, just to make it convenient. Alright, so that is it for single sign-on. Hope you enjoy the feature and let us know how it goes. Thanks for watching.